And welcome back to another session in the 7 days of learning. So, for the past few days, I've been talking about the different books that have helped me in my life in different manners. And there have been books, about emotions, about shame, about vulnerability, about self help, about personal development, about creativity. So, these books have varied in what they've taught me. And I've spoken about four books till date, and today I'll be speaking about the fifth book. And today's book is called The Compound Effect by Darren Hardy. And this book actually I fell upon by chance, and it came to me at a point in my life where I was going through a lot of random stuff, where I was feeling like a complete failure. I'd lost everything that I thought was important to me. I'd lost an important relationship. I'd lost my job. I'd lost, my travel. I was living with my parents, and I was at a really low point in my life. And I found this book and I started reading it. And at that point, reading this book, I realized that I had been completely not following the ultimate rule of success, and that's the reason I was at that point such a failure. The basic thing about the compound effect is that most of us believe that, we are taught that overnight successes are the norm. That a lot of people, because they're talented, they do what they need to do, and all of a sudden they are an absolute success, they're a millionaire, they have thousands of followers, etc. What we don't see is the back work, the years of work that they had to put in, the thousands of hours of practice that they had to put in before they became an overnight success. So there is nothing like overnight success, but in our minds, because we don't see all of the work that's put in the years that they weren't successful, we forget that that actually exists, and we forget about that. And in that process, we forget that the compound effect is what happens for successful people. Successful people know that success is about consistency over a long period of time. So making sure that you do the tasks you're supposed to do every single day over a long period of time, consistently, daily, over a long period of time. And I'm going to harp on this over and over again, because at that point when I was not a success, I was a failure. I saw myself, and I realized that I would try a lot of things for a few days, and I would work at it for a few days, and then I would see not that much of a result, and I would get frustrated and I would give up on it. And that was not because I was lazy or, I didn't have the right temperament. It was because I believed that I wasn't cut out for that task, because I didn't see a result fast enough, because I believed in overnight successes, and I thought that if I didn't, see results quickly enough, it means that I am not meant to be in that field. So I kept on moving from field to field, trying different things out, seeing what would click for me. The thing I was missing throughout this process was the compound effect, and that's the reason I'm so grateful that I found this book, because as soon as I read the book, I realized that I was missing an essential ingredient in my work and in the processing that I was doing, and that was consistency. As soon as I realized that, it clicked, and I started building on consistency. I realized that instead of moving from task to task and moving from thing to thing, I had to stay consistent with at least 2 or 3 things for a year or two at a time. And that was extremely important to me, because it kind of changed my life. And I know a lot of people say this, and that's the reason I don't like using these terms too often, because truly it did actually help me a lot. As soon as I realized the importance of the consistency factor, as soon as I realized the importance of the compound effect, as Darren Hardy puts it, I realized that every single day I had to do something little in order to move myself forward, in order to move myself towards becoming a success. The more I did, the more I would be moving towards being a success. But I had to do it over a long period of time. And this is something that I tell a lot of my coaching clients. I talk to a lot of people about it, and I notice time and time again that most people will try something for a few minutes, a few days, a few hours, a few weeks, and then they'll give up on it because they don't see any results. And the main thing that successful people do, and I see this over and over again, is that they keep on going through the thick and thin. They keep on going no matter what's going on around them. They keep on going no matter how tired they are, or how unsuccessful they feel they are, or how few results they're seeing. They just keep on going and working at it over a long period of time. They don't see what everyone else is doing. They don't compare themselves to others. They don't think about, how much progress they've made, how much progress they haven't made. They just keep on working on on their tasks time and time again, day in and day out, consistently over a long period of time. And that is the reason I believe that these people are, the consistent workers are successful, whereas people who are not consistent have a hard time finding success. What they do, what most unsuccessful people do, is that they keep on moving from task to task. And it comes up over and over again in all of my conversations with people. It's so interesting to me how the same patterns keep on repeating over and over again in every single conversation I have with a successful person versus an unsuccessful person. It's basically as if there are two blueprints there in front of me, and I can choose to follow one or the other. Obviously, I've learned over time, and at this point in time, I know that the main thing that I was lacking for the longest period of time was consistency. And I talk a lot about that on my website as well, The Millionaire Hippie, is that the consistency factor is the reason why I've succeeded and why a lot of people succeed rather than the people who don't. So I absolutely recommend that you guys read The Compound Effect by Darren Hardy. It's a really, really interesting book. It's a really easy read, but it does delineate something really, really interesting. A couple of things that I really pulled out from it, obviously the consistency factor. The second thing that he says that's really important is that you have to track your progress. You have to track what you do. So, for example, if you're trying to improve your finances, you have to track how much money you spend. If you're trying to improve your fitness level, you have to track how many hours a week you're working out and what your weight has been, how it moves around and all that. So whatever you choose to track, you have to track something. And he says that the people who don't track are the people who are not going to be successful in that item. As soon as you start tracking something, you start seeing how much progress you're making or how little progress you're making, that is when you're going to start building on your success. You're going to see, okay, I did this much of amount of work this week, I'm going to do this much next week, and you're able to track the amount of progress you're making. So tracking is one thing that he says is extremely important if you want to be a success, and I want you guys to start thinking about what you can track in your life. If you're trying to improve your fitness level, think about how you can track your fitness, your workouts, the amount of hours you work out, and all that stuff in order to improve on it by week basis. If you want to improve your finances, think about what you can track. Maybe you can track your expenses every week, or you can track the amount of money you're saving every month, etc. Tracking is another thing that he talks about that's really, really important. Successful people track what they do, unsuccessful people do not. So again, I hope that this helps you. My name is Shikha. You guys can join my free Facebook group, The Millionaire Hippie, if you guys are interested. If not, I'll talk to you guys the next time around. And the next book that we'll be discussing, I believe, is called The Rhythms of Life by Matthew Kelly. I was supposed to discuss it today, but I got a little too enthusiastic and I talked about the compound effect instead. So anyways, we'll talk about it tomorrow, and I'll talk to you guys soon. Have an amazing weekend. Bye for now.